Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you like this episode. Listen, we're giving away our very own flogger, designed by Rose for the MVP Lifestyle logo. Listen, all you have to do is tag a friend or partner in this video and share it, and you could win this and have some fun. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Maverick Prasad here, and yes, this is MVP Lifestyle, where I'll be talking to you about sex, but in an educational way, of course. Hey guys, so watch us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe, and always comment, because I can only get better and kinkier with your help. Let's start the show. Hey guys, so I'm here, and I have a very special guest for you. Matter of fact, she just gave me a beating, if you didn't notice. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Rose.
Hello. It's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. She is actually the owner of Just Thorns.
Just the Thorns.
Just the Thorns. Just
okay.
the Thorns. Not Just Thorns, but Just the Thorns. Thank you. I always mess up titles.
It's okay. It's a fairly new...
It was the lashings I got. I'm still tingling from it. Ooh.
Yeah, they'll do that.
So, can we explain a little bit about this whole
setup?
This whole setup, yes. What do we have here?
So this is an in-progress flogger.
And what's a flogger for?
So a flogger is a type of impact toy. For those of you who don't know what that means, it just means hitting implement. So like, a whip, a flogger, a cane, a paddle, something that you hit with. Yeah.
Like I just got beat with earlier. And it was extremely delightful. I suggest everybody should try it. And no, the ancestors won't be mad at you. They'll be proud.
This is my, so I sort of like invented my own method for creating it, and
so this is all made with
paracord.
Parachute,
550 parachute cord. So, yeah, so I kind of just figured out my own method for doing it. There probably is an easier way to do it, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. So they take about 6 to 8 hours to make.
So why paracord?
It's cheap. It's easy to work with. It's easy to clean.
Does it give the same
synthetic
effect as like leather would? Because
it's gonna feel a little different than leather. Leather is, depending on the type of leather and what's on it, it's probably going to be a little bit more thuddy, and that just thuddy. And so there's like two kinds of feelings or types of pain and impact. There's thuddy and there's stingy.
So thuddy is kind of like if you're getting that hard massage and then just pounding.
Basically.
And the sting
so it's
is pretty
be
much like
kind of deeper, whereas sting. So it's like the difference between like this thud and then that. So like thuddy is going to be a deeper pain. Stingy is going to be more of a surface pain.
So real quick, just like send those nerves.
Yeah.
Ooh, it doesn't shock.
Yeah. The whip was stingy.
So what got you into all of this?
Like into making stuff or into like kink in general?
Well, into making stuff, which will probably turn into, or was it kink first, then making, or was it making then kink?
First.
Kink first. So let's talk about the kink, if you don't mind.
I've been kinky kind of as long as I can remember.
Haven't we all?
It's funny actually. I recently, not like super recently, but remembered that when I was a kid, when I was like a really young kid, I used to like to hurt my dolls.
What? You used to hurt your dolls?
But lovingly.
Like loving. So it wasn't like that psychotic, I'm beheading you.
No, nothing like that.
No,
it's just like
Madam Kinky's.
It's like, no, I'm gonna poke you with a needle, and then I'm not gonna put a Band-Aid on it. Ha ha ha. Because
wow.
I was like, I was 6, 7 years old. Like
at 6 and 7, and that's what. So here's one thing. So at 6 and 7, did you find like that was an arousal for you at first, or was it more of an amusement?
I wouldn't call it that. I think it was just like, so. I don't know. I don't think I really had. I don't know why I liked it at that age.
Understandable.
Yeah, it was. something I hadn't thought about in like a really long time, and then I remember like, oh yeah, I used to do that. That was a sign.
So it's like one of those
So-
things that you think back.
Yeah, I
Oh.
was like, oh, because when I first, because for the longest time I thought that I was more submissive, more of a bottom, and then I discovered that I was not. So I'm a top-leaning switch. So what that means is like I like both topping and bottoming. And
So when you explain topping and bottoming, is it normally, because I know, so topping and bottoming, I know a lot of people are like, okay, so she's on the bottom when it's sexual and the top sexual, but is it also like bottoming more like you could be like submissive, right?
yeah, so basically what those terms mean is, and I don't say dominant, submissive, even though a lot of people do use those interchangeably.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you can, but to me, they're distinct.
Got you.
Because dom and sub is more of a, like, formal power exchange, whereas topping and bottoming is like topping, you are doing the thing, bottoming, the thing is being done to you.
Got you.
And it doesn't necessarily, like, it doesn't mean, like, it's like, oh, like, you're physically on the bottom. Because you might not be, like, you know, because, like, I can top someone when they're hanging above me. Because, you know, I tie suspension. So, yeah, so that's what those terms mean to me. And, like, I am more, that's sort of more my speed than, like, I don't really do very formal power exchange, so I just prefer those terms for myself.
Got you.
Yeah.
So is it that you don't, you know, you found more that you like being...
It's...
Like, when the power exchange, just real quickly, we'll go on there.
Yeah.
Like, when you say you don't find form, do you not really find yourself normally putting you more in a submissive role? Or is it because you switch back and forth given the task that's at
It's not necessarily that. It's just sort of the way that I play and my style. So more like, I'm a very, like, giggly, playful top. And I'm also kind of that way as a bottom, too, a little bit. Like, the things I like as a top and a bottom are different. But I just find that it's more accurate to what I feel.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not sure exactly, like, the best way to articulate it, but,
Well, that's...
it's, yeah, like, the more formal power exchange, like having a collars and, like, you know, you're stepping into a role, which, like, I mean, everything you do kind of is a role. And, I mean, I don't know. It's funny, so one of my roommates, and our pretty much our entire house is kinky.
You have a house of kinks.
Yeah, we have one token vanilla, though.
One token vanilla.
Yeah. But it's funny, the first time she came out to the club that I frequent in Hartford, and she saw me play, and it was a very informal scene, just with one of my play partners. It was in the lounge, and I was just tying a Guatemalan on her, which is it's a calf torture tie. And
Okay.
I get very, I just get very, giddy when I'm tying someone like that. And
I can just see, like, I'm tying you up.
Yeah.
That's so...
That's, yeah.
Wow.
So, and it's just afterwards she said to me, it's like, wow, because she'd never seen me play before, and she's like, it's so weird, because, that's just you. Like, you didn't, transition into another persona. Like, that was just pure you.
Hey,
So
I think that's a great thing about it.
Yeah.
Is that in those environments you can be you without having to feel like you always have to put on a show. You know, sometimes it's not, you don't want to always perform. You just want to be in the moment and enjoy what's going on at that moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you make floggers, but you also make, as you guys have notes, whips too.
Yeah, so I actually started with whips. So fast forward, so I've been in the community for about 2.5 years. I had some experience before that with a couple of partners, but didn't formally enter the community. Started going to events. I got on FetLife. I started just being involved in the community as opposed to just doing the bedroom BDSM. And I feel like there's a distinction between that, just doing it sort of in your private life and then being part of the community.
Be a part of, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a bigger thrill.
Yeah. The community is
wonderful because it's more like it's like when you're in your bedroom, it's like you and your partner are there, and it's kind of like that intimacy where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's great. But then in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, is this just us? And then when you're in the community, it's like, ooh, it's a lot of us. And you can just spread your wings and be like, it's me.
Yeah. So yeah, I started going to events back in, I want to say, February of 2018 was my first event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was back at the Rogue Project in Holyoke when they were still around. They're unfortunately not anymore.
Now these events, are these strictly BDSM events? Are they just kink events? Like, just to clarify.
I mean, kink and BDSM sort of are used interchangeably. I feel like, I mean, there is, like, some people do, like, there is, like, distinction between them, but, like, I kind of use them interchangeably.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I've always, so I'm happy you said that, because I've always said, like, kink is like that. It's kind of like the umbrella which everything falls over, and then, like, when you say BD, it's kind of like you know what you're getting, and, like, you know, there's going to be some whips and chain, you know. With kink is like, it could be anything. It could be a little
BDSM, I mean, what it stands for, like, bondage, dominant, submission, sadism, masochism, so like that realm, and that's mostly where I fall in. Like, it's like I'm a sadist, I'm a rigger, and that's mostly what I do.
Rigger?
I do shibari. I tie.
Oh my gosh! I just found someone that, and I'm talking because we're practicing horribly, but you know, you gotta start tying somebody up somewhere, right? Yeah. So, can we see a few more of your finished products that you have?
Absolutely. So actually, So I started with whips, and you saw this earlier.
Yes.
This is one of my micro pocket snake whips. They take like maybe 2 hours to make, and I learned how to make them from a tutorial on YouTube.
Now look at you, just.
So, yeah, I initially, I got into whips initially when, so how I met one of my partners, the first time we met, she taught me how to crack a whip at an event. I was like, oh, I like this. And then later, like, one of my partners was really into whips, and I wanted to, so this was last summer, I decided, you know what, I want to do something crafty. So I started looking into different things, and my first idea actually was dyeing rope, like doing like my own like rope dyeing, and like doing like, you know, all kinds of cool different colors. Yeah. But that was messy and expensive, and so I didn't do it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And there are so many tutorials on YouTube and like resources for whip making. One of the best, in my opinion, is Nick's Whip Shop by Nick Schrader. He's a whip maker. I don't know where he lives, but
I've actually saw his off of your site when I went on Facebook. I've actually saw one of his things, and I clicked on there to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. He makes really, really good stuff and really good content. So I definitely I tried making a bullwhip once. It didn't go very well, but I followed his video.
Bullwhip. That sounds scary.
I love them so much. They're so much fun. But yeah, so I've kind of tabled the bullwhip for now a little bit and focused more on like smaller toys, the floggers. I make where are they? I started making these little cable loop slappers. So this is pool cable that I got from Ocean State Job Lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know that because that's what I use to close up my pool.
Yeah. So it's very stingy. It leaves like really good marks. You sure?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay,
yeah.
She's like, that was nothing. Let me show you how it really. Look at this.
But yeah, so I started making these. I make little, see if I can dig them out here. I make little evil sticks.
So why are they called evil sticks?
Because they're evil and they're sticks.
Are they kind of like similar to like the little paddles with the little leather thing on top. You know how you buy those little bonded kink kits and they have
Oh,
that little
yeah.
whip thing with the, it looks like a little fan on top of it. Is that kind of similar to that?
Not exactly. So
What are those called? I think those are something they use for horses and stuff like that, but I can't
I
remember.
mean crops.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. I think that's what you're talking about.
I'm still learning, folks. That's why this is a sex ed class. I'm learning a lot about these whips and stuff, and let me tell you, that last one, I could probably do with that with a little hiney.
Yeah,
but
so
I like that your stuff is all colorful and everything
thank you.
too.
Yeah, and this particular paracord, it lights up under black light.
Ooh, black light.
So yeah, so these, there's like 3 ways you can hit with them. There's like, the stick. The traditional, I'd say, way to use an evil stick is to just kind of like flick it.
Okay, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah. And then there's like the little the tassel on the end. It's a little sensation play.
So you could.
And then you'd hit with that side. It's a little more thuddy. Yeah.
That is so intriguing.
And then
I might have to get an evil stick. Got the magic stick.
And then we've got the floggers. And these I've really since I started making these, I've just fallen in love with them. And doing all of the different designs and styles. I like the just designing them and the depth of color. So this one's.
So how many of these do you normally do people buy a lot of? Is there a lot of is there within your community knowledge wise? You don't have to say Is there a lot of people though that are into flogging?
Oh yeah. It's one of the biggest, one of the most popular kinds of impact toys, and there's so many different kinds, so many different styles, different materials.
Now, can we talk a little bit about the pleasure within the pain? What have you learned from it, from being in the lifestyle?
For me personally, so I'm demisexual, and
explain that.
What that means is that I don't really feel sexual attraction unless there's a really strong emotional connection, and then so sex for me. Because I don't feel very much physically, physical pleasure wise, I have a very low capacity for it. I don't feel that much, and that's just kind of how my body is. Sex for me is more of just that's just how I connect to a particular partner that I have that with.
Correct. Okay.
But it's very rare. And I'm just not much of a sexual person. And when I first started experimenting with BDSM with a partner, it didn't go very well, actually. One of my first relationships, because his style of doming was very sexual, and I didn't quite know why it wasn't working for me at the time, because it took some time to kind of
figure out what you like it
to realize oh, that doesn't work for me. But since I've joined the community, one of the most important things that I've learned, and one of the most life-changing things for me, was that BDSM is not inherently sexual. It's about it's just about connecting with your partner in whatever way feels good to you and feels right.
Yeah.
And that, it can include sex. It doesn't have to. Pretty much anything in kink can be non-sexual.
Which is a point when we were talking off screen, we were saying and that's the truth. Just everyone thinks oh, it's kinky, it's instantly penile vaginal.
Yeah.
Penile anal or penile mouth, whatever you want to
say.
And
if that's your thing, that's totally fine.
That's fine. But there's also this
you don't
other thing.
have to.
You don't have to. There's other things that could turn people on. We're gonna get into tantra, where you could orgasm without even having intercourse.
Right.
It's an amazing feeling.
So for me, pain is the gratification. It's because I am the way I am, and I don't experience sexual pleasure the way that other people do, or at least at the same level that other people do. Sex and pleasure has always been a wall for me between me and a partner. So if them sort of like, or giving them pleasure, or them, or having sex has always kind of felt like, okay, well, they're feeling this thing, and
But
they're
you're just like, what about
me.
yeah?
They're expecting me to feel this thing, but I don't.
I don't feel it. It's like
I don't feel it.
I don't feel it. No wrong with you, bro, but I don't feel it. It's like
yeah. So it's
like
always
that energy. You don't feel like
exactly.
It's like people don't understand. Yeah.
So there's always been this wall between me and pleasure, but with pain, for some reason, it's something that I can connect with.
That brings the pleasure.
So it's like, I play very, very well with masochists, people that enjoy pain.
I mean, you're over here poking dolls with pins. I hope so.
The funny thing about that is I'm not into needle play.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing I'm not, and we'll talk about that.
All right, so have my partner Amy here. And so first timers probably stick to mostly the back side of the body. Good places are like on either side of the spine, like right here. I would avoid these areas because you don't want to wrap and hit organs. The butt's good. The thighs are good. Part of the thighs is also good. Yeah, thighs are a good meaty part. So yeah, so you can hit like that. You can do, if you could turn it this way, you can do a figure 8 pattern and just go kind of all the way up the body. Just be careful with like where you're standing so that you don't wrap around and hit things that you do not want to hit. So yeah. Anything to add?
No, that was pretty straightforward. You don't want to hit the lower back or base area, and avoid going below the knee.
Yeah, that too.
Great. Thanks for the demonstration, too, of
You're very
showing.
welcome.
Thank you for your partner, for also her demonstrating where to hit as well. Guys, thank you. I hope you watch this. My name is Maverick Prasad, and this is
Rose.
our beautiful first guest. Yay! Thank you. And yes, guys,
Thank you.
she has, well, we'll probably get her card, but Just the Thorns. You can find her on Facebook at Just the Thorns, Instagram at Just the Thorns _ FetLife at _ Just the Thorns _. And you guys,
And I have an Etsy.
and she has an Etsy,
Yeah, and that's just the Thorns.
Just the Thorns.
Yep.
So guys, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like and give us some comments about this. And thank you for watching MVP Lifestyle. We'll see you next time.